Good morning, students. I am Manjari Jhunjhunwala along with Dr. Vishal Singh. Present here my course title Understanding Literary Genres and Devices. In today's module 5, I would talk about poetry as a literary form, and today we will discuss what are the elements of poetry. Let's begin with the outlines of today's lecture. First, we will do introduction portion, then sound devices, rhyme, rhythm and meter. We will also talk about imagery. We will also talk about types of imagery, diction, figurative language in poetry. We will also talk about tone, mood, syntax and theme. Further, we will talk about major poetic forms, followed by what is symbolism. Poetry combines form, sound and meaning to express emotions and ideas aesthetically. It differs from prose through its rhythm, structure and compact expression. It reflects intense human emotions and imagination. It uses form and structure to enhance meaning. There are certain poetic elements like sound, imagery, diction, symbolism, which create artistic impact on the audience. It helps readers interpret and appreciate deeper meanings in verse. Understanding poetic elements help analyze how poets create impact through language and structure. Let's talk about sound devices in poetry. It has music, rhythm and harmony. It strengthens mood, tone and emotion through sound patterns. It has alliteration, that is repetition of initial consonant sounds like sir, as you can see in the line, she sells sea shells. Poetry has assonance, which is repetition of vowel sounds. For example, in the line, rise high in the bright sky, where I sound is repeated. Consonance, through consonance, poetry repeats. It has consonance, which is repeated consonant sounds within or at end. Poetry also has onomatopoeia, that is, words imitating sounds. For example, splash, buzz, murmur. These are onomatopoeic words. Poetry has repetition, and through repetition, it emphasizes on the meaning. It has euphony and cacophony, that is, pleasant and harsh sounds respectively. Let's talk about rhyme in poetry in detail. Rhyme is repetition of similar sound words, usually at the end of lines in a poem. It creates music, enhances memory, and emphasizes on the meaning. Let's talk about types of rhyme. Number 1, end rhyme. Rhyming words at the end of lines, that is, sun is bright, it gives me light. So, bright and light are example of end rhyme. Internal rhyme, rhyming with the same line. For example, I went to town to buy a gown. So, town and gown are example of internal rhyme. It has feminine rhyme, which is rhyme on 2 or more syllables. Last syllable is unstressed. For example, label, table. Masculine rhyme, rhyme on a single stressed syllable. For example, stand, hand. These are examples of masculine rhyme. Further, let's talk about rhythm and meter in detail. What is rhythm? Rhythm is the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in a line of poetry. It gives flow, music, and emotional effect to the poem. What is meter? Next. Meter is the structured, recurring pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in a line of poetry. I repeat, combination of stressed and unstressed syllable is called meter. It provides a measured rhythm that gives poetry its formal structure. And dear students, it is because of meter that we can sing any poetry. Some types of rhythm and common metrical feet. Iamb. What is iamb? As you can see, unstressed followed by stressed syllable. For example, 4. Chalky, stressed followed by unstressed. As example, table. Anapaced, 2 unstressed syllables followed by stressed syllable. Example, intervene. Dactyl, stressed followed by 2 unstressed. Example, elephant. Spondy, 2 stressed syllables. Example, heartbreak. Pyrrhic, 2 unstressed syllables. Example, and the. Let's talk about imagery in poetry. What is imagery? Imagery is the use of vivid and descriptive language that appeals to the 5 senses. What are those 5 senses? Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, to create mental pictures or evoke sensations in the reader's mind. Imagery makes poetry more vivid and engaging. It helps convey emotions and moods, and imagery enhances the reader's experience by appealing to the senses, and the reader becomes one with the poet, and the feelings of both are combined with the help of use of imagery. Types of imagery. Visual imagery appeals to sight. For example, the golden sunset draped the hills in warmth. So here we have a visual picture of golden sunset. Number 2, auditory imagery. It appeals to sound. For example, the thunder roared across the valley. So here our auditory faculty is active. Number 3, tactile imagery appeals to touch. The rough bark scraped against my palm. So here we can feel the roughness through the word. Gustatory imagery appeals to taste. For example, the lemonade was tart and sweet on my tongue. So here our gustatory sensations are active. Olfactory imagery appeals to smell. For example, the aroma of freshly baked bread filled the room. So this aroma of freshly baked bread is example of olfactory imagery. And lastly, we have kinesthetic imagery, which appeals to the movement or tension. For example, he stumbled over the uneven cobblestone. So the word stumble is example of kinesthetic imagery. Diction. Diction means use of words, choice of words. Diction is also very important when we study poetry, when we write poetry, when we try to understand poetry. What is diction? Diction is the poet's choice of words and style of expression in a poem. It reflects tone, mood, and the intended effect on the reader. The diction can be formal, the diction can be informal, colloquial, abstract, and concrete. What is formal? Formal means sophisticated. Informal is conversational. Colloquial, regional or local expressions. Abstract, words expressing idea or concept. Concrete, words that describe tangible sensory experiences. What is the use of diction? What is the purpose of diction? Number 1, it shapes the poem's meaning and impact. Number 2, it reveals the poet's voice and personality. And number 3, it helps establish tone, mood, and style of the poet. Next is figurative language, which is very important to understand the structure of poetry, the sense of poetry. What is figurative language? and why it is used. Figurative language enriches meaning through non-literal expressions. The common figures include metaphors, simile, personification, hyperbole, and many more. What is simile? It is a very common figurative language when there is comparison between two unlike things using like or as. For example, her smile was bright like the sun. Next is metaphor, which directly compares two unlike things without using like or as. For example, time is a thief. Personification. It gives human qualities to non-human objects or ideas. For example, the wind whispered through the trees. Next, hyperbole, exaggeration for emphasis or effect. Example, I have told you a million times. So these are some figurative languages. Let's talk about tone, mood, syntax, and theme in any poetry. What is tone? Tone is poet's attitude towards the subject. That is ironic, that is joyful, that is melancholic, that is critical, that is biased, that is unbiased. These can be the tone. Mood. Mood refers to emotional atmosphere experienced by the readers. Syntax. Syntax means words. So syntax in poetry means arrangement of words and sentence patterns for rhythm and emphasis. Theme. Central idea or underlying message of any poem is called theme. Let's again talk about some major poetic forms which developed through the centuries, through the ages of English literature. Poetic forms are structured types or patterns of poetry that follow specific rules regarding rhyme, meter, length, and arrangement. Ballad. Ballad is a narrative poem meant to be sung with simple rhyme and meter. It tells stories of love, adventure, or tragedy. The beginning is abrupt, and sometimes the poem is sung to the accompaniment of dance. For example, the rhyme of Ancient Mariner, written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, is one of the best examples of English ballad. Another very important and very popular form of poetry is sonnet. Sonnet is 14-line poem with specific rhyme scheme. The Shakespearean rhyme scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG, which is divided into 3 quatrains and a couplet. Further, Petrarchan or Italian sonnet has ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE rhyme scheme, and it is divided into octave and sestet. We will talk more about these poetic forms later. Another important form of poetry which emerged on the scenario of English poetry is ode, which is an elaborate, serious, formal poem praising a person or eulogizing a person, thing, or idea. For example, John Keats, who wrote 6 odes in all, and one of them being Ode to a Nightingale. Next in line is elegy, which is poem of mourning or reflection on death. For example, John Milton wrote Lycidas and Thomas Gray wrote Elegy written in country churchyard. When we talk about poetry, symbolism is inevitable. Let's try and understand what is symbolism. Symbolism is the use of symbols, objects, characters, colors, or events add layers and represent deeper meanings, ideas, or concepts beyond their literal sense. Symbolism enhances emotional and thematic depth. It helps convey abstract ideas through concrete images. Let's also understand some common types of symbolism. Number one, universal symbolism. Symbols with commonly accepted meanings. For example, dove stands for peace and rose symbolizes love. Conventional symbols, symbols that acquire meaning through tradition or cultural setup. For example, black shirts refer to German uh, army. Bad luck refers to something when bad luck refers to when something ill happens to anyone. Next is natural symbols. When elements of nature represents when elements of nature represent ideas or emotions. For example, storm symbolizes struggle or conflict in one's life. Thank you.